Hello, my dear viewers, welcome to a new episode. In the 17th centuries, a European war spiraled out called the 30 Years' War. As usual, France witnessed some of this war's battles, although the French weren't an active part of that war. Anyway, this war had mercenaries from Croatia to serve King Louis XIV. They used to tie a piece of fabric around their neck for protection, so the French saw that tie and called it Croats after the Croatians. And since the French have different pronunciations and say the R differently, the word became cravat instead of Croat. Isn't this the suit tie, ABO Mead? Yes. The men fashion symbol that's still standing for unknown reasons. Paulo Coelho in his novel, Veronica Decides to Die, says about the tie that it's a ridiculous useless bit of colored cloth, tied in a very complicated way, and makes it harder to get air to the lungs and difficult to turn the head. And it also requires attention. If you're passing by a fan or something, it could get caught in it and strangle you. If a madman asks me why am I wearing a tie, I won't find a logical explanation to say. Except the comfort of taking it off at home. Imagine wearing it to feel comfort when taking it off. The tie is a symbol for all awkward situations, ones that require looking serious and committed, and in many other situations. Going to propose? Wear a tie. Going to a seminar? Wear a tie. And the hardest situation, the one I'm building up for, a job interview. And as you expected, it is our episode's star today, job interviews. An interview is that evil invention created by Thomas Edison during the 20s, which was agreed upon by all sources. The idea of the interview is said to belong to Edison, and depends on testing his job applicants in his office. At that time, the New York Times exposed his method, and published the questions he used to ask the applicants, which were hard and almost impossible to answer. I lied to you, my friend. Edison neither invented this personality test, nor was the brains behind the interview idea. Edison took this personality test from the Army during World War I, then developed it, and made a uniform employment test in 1921. The interview isn't even an invention. People have always been questioned, asked, and interviewed. It's as old as human relationships go. Edison just polished it for his age, the Industrial Revolution age and after. Before that, most of the jobs were crafts, passed down between families' generations, or families would send their kids to learn a craft at other families, apprentices. And mostly the one who ran the factory or the workshop, or the hospital or the bookstore, was its direct owner. But after the Industrial Revolution and capitalism, role dividing in work appeared. That way, there was production lines in addition to developing management systems and service sectors step by step. Then new job came out like sales, marketing, and of course the famous hour. What's HR? ABO Mead. Abbreviation for Happy Ramadan. No, my friend, it's for human resources. It seems like you weren't fired before. Anyway, companies grew and started needing to hire many employees. So we needed to find a way to filter out these applicants, and a kind of formula to evaluate them, and see if they're fit for the job. That's when the interviews started with all their tests, and it became a standard measure for more than 100 years. According to many studies, interviews are more prone to be subjective, they're not objective. It doesn't have specific standards and numbers that are agreed on everywhere. It's more up to the interviewer. It's subjective. He may like you and offer you a job without being qualified, or vice versa, whether it would be because of your name or race or way of talking. Biasing and unstandardized results became inevitable. But despite all that, the interview is one of the key tools and measures to choosing fit employees. As Forbes say, the world spends over $200 billion on employment services. Third of that amount is attributed to USA alone, that spends around $72 billion on these services. What's with that, USA? You know when you apply for a job and get no reply at all? That hard feeling that you went through a lot. Let me break it down for you with numbers. I'll break down your failure with numbers. It's said that among 6 applications, only 1 interview is offered. If you're manly enough. My friend, I'm not attacking you, cool down. Not challenging you, just mentioning gender. Because for women, it's 1 interview offer out of 9 applications, even if the professional background and job experience between both genders are equal. Capitalism doesn't like you, my female friend. They're probably jealous. Anyway, you my male or female friend, if you got interview offers, your acceptance rate are from 10% to 37%. And if you got lucky and scored 3 interviews, the acceptance rate would be 51%. Man. Why so cruel, ABO Mead? A company usually receives around 250 CVs for every job vacancy, and only 6 of them get offered interviews. There are 244 CVs discarded. Each CV is approximately checked out for average of 6 seconds. Only? Yes, my friend. 6 seconds are usually enough to decide interviewing you or not. And it's said that 76% of CV discarding at the first glance is the unprofessional email address. The whole Ahmed_love_2010 inches thing doesn't work at all. If some people still have Hotmail, that's enough. There's no more naughty boy_Shawn Michaels. Statistics also tell us that 85% of job applicants lie on their CVs to make themselves seem cooler. And 95% of the job applicants try to pass younger than they really are. Because discrimination against older people is real, even in a land of equal opportunity like USA, where you're neither allowed to write your date of birth nor your picture on your CV. You know, my friend, that a lie has no legs. So, no pants are needed, abo mead? Especially in this social media age, it's hard to lie about these things. It's not easy to hide your info. Keeping in mind that 70% of recruiters skim through the applicant's social media accounts, and 43% of the HR recruiters regularly keep an eye on their employees on these platforms. Careful about what you post now. One of the important platforms is LinkedIn. Anyway, if you passed all that, and made it to the interview, the most important thing is preparation. And after you're done, prepare again. You have to do your research on the job and the company. It doesn't make sense at all in an interview to ask questions like, "What do you do in this company?" Something like that is a deal breaker. You can't go to an interview where you don't know what the company does. Keep in mind that 47% of interview rejections is because people don't know enough about the company's activity or products. You have to be well prepared. Expect the questions and their answers. Most of these questions are all over books, researches, and websites. One would say, "Abo mead, I memorized all answers and ready." Calm down, naive. Calm down. The answers can't be told as memorized, not understood. You have to understand the answers and rephrase them. That's like when you cheat from your friend in an exam, and you change in your answer so no one knows you cheated. The performance in delivering the answer has to be articulate and natural. Know that no matter how smarty pants you try to be, you're talking to professionals who have been through tons of this. You're not just trying. There aren't many eggs in the basket. You have to be prepared to claim the first place in a race with many people. And honestly, you have little time window to leave a good first impression. The impression, my friend. Your first glance and fraction of a second make a difference. What are we doing again? Abo mead. The outfit, the eyes, the body language, and the smile. Don't do silly things, just don't. If your outfit is inappropriate, this could blow your shot. Outfit, for example, in 71% of the time, you don't have to wear formal as in a full suit, shirt, and tie. You should ask about the dress code of that company instead, and what do people there expect you to wear. If you aren't making good eye contact, you'll be rejected 67% of the time. Body language, even if you just crossed your arms, you're giving 20% of rejection. You wasted 20% and have 80% left. Smile. The smile is important, so is your tone. As simple as these things are, they make up 50% of your chances. Generally, your self-confidence and your ability to show it without excessiveness or arrogance, it makes a difference. There are even 10% of applicants that get rejected because of their handshake. Learn how to shake hands. While you're learning to handshake, learn how to smile. In a study of the Journal of Social Psychology in 2015, with a very interesting title, Smiling in a Job Interview. When less is more, don't smile too much, you'll look like an idiot. In this study they found that smiling is less mid-interview, comparing to its beginning and end, which helps in getting accepted, especially in jobs requiring seriousness. According to that study, in some cases, smile when you're entering and leaving, and don't smile much during the interview's serious talk. The study concluded that your smile in the interview affects your acceptance status based on the type of the job itself. The interview lasts average of 40 minutes, with a range of 30 to 90 minutes. If you lasted to the maximum range, it's a good thing, and that you passed the phase where they could have rejected you, so they're taking their time, and they definitely are because they like you. They won't waste their time with you then reject you. But my friend, the crucial interview interval is the first 90 seconds. If their maximum is 90 minutes, then 33% of the time, they decided to reject someone in those first 90 seconds. Some statistics estimate 7 seconds as an average for the first impression. They know the waters of the person in the first seconds. Why is he here? What does he want? Is he good or not? It's not always an accurate impression, but it's formed in those 7 seconds. And here, unfortunately, perception is reality. The first 7 seconds, according to the study, are more important than the entire interview. That's if you survived 15 minutes in the first place. You need to keep in mind the idea of elimination, where mostly the aim of the first few minutes and questions, and some first interviews if the recruiting is multi-phased, is for the goal of elimination. Calm down. Elimination as an employee, not a CIA agent. Companies usually want to get rid of a specific number to filter the others. They play the golden goal in round -16 on you. Bam, a knockout decider. If you answered wrong, goodbye. And take care of the trap question. Tell us your strengths and weaknesses, and gives you that look that we all have weaknesses. My friend, don't answer that question if anyone ever asked it. The best answer to that question is to mention something related to work, something technical you want to gain. Stay away from your personal life and weak responses like saying you have no weaknesses. That one's called Thanos, you're not him. Choose something that has 2 sides. You can say that your problem is that you don't tolerate slow pace from colleagues, but you respect the team spirit, and you worked on a way to help them work faster. Then you talk about an example you did in a job before. That way, you mentioned a weakness and worked out a solution for it, and that solution improved both you and your team's performance. Try to use the storytelling method in an interview. Have every story formatted by the STAR technique: S situation, T task, A action, R result. If you want to answer the weakness question spontaneously, feel free to do so. But stick to business. That's important, according to studies, not me. My dear friend, there are some things we don't do in an interview or on a first date. Don't voluntarily spill your flaws. Let them find out on their own, it won't be that hard. And don't spill a secret, don't say you have a difficulty waking up, or that you're used to being late. Keep this till the firing day. They'll know everything then. Remember, people are hired for their skills, and fired for their attitude. For what? ABO Mead. Their attitude. Apply all this advice in all questions, like introduce yourself that we all stutter in, and the one about your strength or ability to work under pressure. I want you to keep your answers focused on work, not your personal matters. You're not with your therapist, nor with opera. Tell stories in the context of work. And try to do that professionally. Don't make the interviewer sense that you're connecting dots, don't scheme it geometrically, do it freehand. Smoothly. Use strong words like loyalty, team spirit, leadership, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. No personal talk. One more thing. Don't badmouth your old job even if you left with a fight. It was just a misunderstanding. No details. Let bygones be bygones. Don't be mischievous or pessimist. Don't speak from the heart without planning. Don't let them find fake promises, be realistic and dignified. Not just that, there are also the technical questions, very important. We get hired for our skills, and fired for our attitude. Also watch out from the IQ questions, how to fit in 3 elephants in a minicar, and, what's the money's color? Most importantly, don't respond, I don't know, to a technical work-related question, and don't say any answer, think and talk it through with them. Buy yourself some time to understand what they want. In the end, it's a discussion and a conversation. They need you as much as you need them. It's not an interrogation. Believe in yourself. Also, when you answer the IQ questions, respond to the question with a question, as in you're inquiring to understand more. Lastly, with the last and known question, which is where do you see yourself in 5 years? Know that this question is about 2 things, your idea on job stability, and your understanding of their investment in an employee. You want to get promoted, and your plan might take 2.5 years at most, and your ambition is to be in your interviewer's position. All that doesn't matter and you shouldn't say it nor hint it. You're there to earn a living, not spark drama. Don't mind the administrative hierarchy. You need to use your answer to show your loyalty. They will invest their money, training, and time on you. Talk about your plans to learn, comprehend, self-development, self-assertion, and finally, gaining as much experience as possible, hence acceptance and respect. Talk about enjoyment as well. Tell them you're looking to grow there. And if a chance came to promote, I would like to prove myself and show my skills and abilities. Remember that what's more important than personal ambition, for them, is that you're there to stay. I want you to be phenomenal, my friend. Make the committee applaud on their inside and say, that's the one, and take an initial decision of hiring you. Interviews. As said by Joyce Lane Kennedy in her book, Job Interviews for Dummies, that it's a slice of performance art. So I need to be a good performer, abo mead? Unfortunately, my friend, let me tell you that to go through this life, you need to be a good performer. You, my friend, are like an actor on stage, you aren't just skimming through your life history. In the end, my friend, after all this effort and advice, you need to take into account that you might get rejected. It's okay, nothing wrong with it. It's destiny. Most important thing in this episode, that I'm repeating, people are hired for their skills, and fired for their attitude. Again, people are hired for their skills, and fired for their attitude. Watch your attitude. And don't forget to watch the old episodes and the new ones, look at the sources, and if you're on YouTube, subscribe. Look at the sources, please. I got you numbers and studies. 30% and 70%. I became an admission office. Work with me, I'll teach you the easiest way to tie a tie. Hold this like that, then do this, and that. Look, my friend, it's not right,